Peace, good evening. Welcome, everyone. My name is Karen Culpepper, and today I feel like my grandmothers were all over me, just on me, on it. And I wanted to share about my grandmothers. I want to just call in my great grandmother first on my mom's side, who I just affectionately call Tai Nai. And today I was reminded of how my great grandmother was walking my grandmother to the edge of her journey, um, onto another journey. My mom was an infant, and she was fleeing China in the late 1940s. And my great grandmother thought that she would be returning home, and she learned it wasn't safe to return home, and they left. And so I'm reminded, Nai, my grandmother, just how beautifully she crafted home wherever she was, losing home and choosing to leave home when all these babies started coming into the world in the US, and then creating home here as a soft landing for all of us. And then I was just exploring, so not just that fracturing, but also a fracturing on my father's side of the family, and with my grandma Rosa. And my father was a young boy, and she said, when you get home from school, take off your school clothes and put on your play clothes. And after school, my father thought he could jump over this puddle, and he didn't make it over the puddle. And out of fear for the consequences, he ran away from home, which was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and went to his father in North Carolina. And so I want to just acknowledge that, right? Like not being with his mom, and as a child, as a granddaughter, spending time with my grandmother off and on during the summers for just a short period of time. And I remember as she got older, she lost her sight, and being able to just prepare her plate for her to nourish herself. And just putting, grandma, this is at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And when my daughter was almost one, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, was transitioning. And I went to sleep and she was in this realm, and I woke up and she was an ancestor. And what I realized, she came to me in a dream that night, and she was helping me sharpen this tool of sight and intuition. So I just wanted to acknowledge that, right? Tai Nai, my grandmother, Grandma Rosa, my mom, Wen Ling. I am mother to Jasmine, grandmother to Ava. And if it had been just a different time or a different place or a different space, right? Every morning I get up, I bless my head. I bless my destiny. I ask to be guided to my excellence, right? A girl, now a woman, an herbalist. I'm so thankful and grateful to be here. And I'm always amazed at how pods of folks just can create so much potency, and we can just pull the magic and brilliance out of each other. So thank you. I think I'm gonna go back and bring it back forward, right? So I know that there is such a fertile tradition of Black folks, people of the diaspora, decals. I identify with decals, descendants of captured Africans in the US. There's such a rich history and tradition of caring so deeply for ourselves and each other. Caring deeply for ourselves and each other. And I want to just say Africa and communities all over Africa, and specifically in West Africa and Mandinga people, a deeply rooted history and knowing and use of cotton root bark for birth control and as an abortifacient. Just the potency of just resistance and having a say over your bodies anytime, and specifically in times of famine. When I was in grad school studying herbal medicine, I felt like cotton root bark sent for me. Again, Africans, captured Africans, descendants of captured Africans, expanded the use of herbs here in these United States, expanded the knowledge, expanded the brilliance. And I'm gonna be country for a second, because them folks didn't know what they were doing, right? So this trafficking of souls was also a trafficking of indigenous technology, this deep knowledge of plants and land, plant spirit medicine. And I can just close my eyes and think about this history of folks being taken away from their land, right? There are literally, it's written down for us to read and remember, folks grabbing soil and eating it so that their connection to the land would be with them, kicking and screaming and resisting, braiding seeds in their hair, right? That's the rich history. So I want to say thank you, Cotton Root Bark, for finding me. And I wrote so much, and this is going to keep me on track because I want to honor time. Cotton was so ubiquitous that the chewing on the root bark would prevent implantation, and a very strong decoction. So we usually drink teas as infusion, right? Hot water over plant material. And decoctions are like a long boil. You want to pull out the yummies out of the herbs. And so a very strong decoction of the root bark. And in my research, also the seeds cotton root bark would transform into this abortifacient. And there was documentation of, I'm gonna say plantation doctors, because when I think of doctors, they take an oath to do no harm. So plantation doctors had kind of sent this letter around to plantation owners, and I say, like, these terrorists, right? And said, hey, folks are using cotton root bark, and we have black haw, which traditionally still to this day is used to help maintain the integrity of folks that are expecting, right? Or to prevent miscarriage. And cotton root bark was so ubiquitous, cotton root bark usually won that push and pull. And so if I could just leave, I want to lead with, I've had conversations recently in communities, just leading a conversation, and folks were sharing their experiences with abortifacients and different herbs, right? And I want to set up a bit of framework to lead, right? To guide. That feels better. Set up a bit of framework to guide, because there's so much information out there on the internet. And I want to say, lead with intention. May we lead with prayers and intention, because this is choosing to release a pregnancy is a powerful and potent ritual. And again, back to that rich history, I literally I get so upset and really triggered when I see signs at protest and there are hangers, and I've challenged that imagery. I challenge that narrative, because back to that deep care, we have been caring for ourselves and each other for millennia. We have this knowledge, dare I say, in our cells and in our bones. We've evolved with plants forever and ever and ever, and will continue to do so. So I will say, I challenge that, not that it's not the truth and someone's truth. I think that that may not be the majority of folks releasing pregnancies in Black and Brown communities. And so I also want to share really quickly, I remember being in community and someone sharing this history of, I don't remember the languaging. I want to say like the code word was like party trains, and folks would accompany their friends, their loved ones from the South to the Midwest to release pregnancies. So we are living in Octavia Butler days. Like, playtime is over. And if there's one sentence out of all the things I've said this evening, please, my request, build relationships with plants. Know what is in your backyard, know what is around you, and know what that feels like in your bodies. And that's the beauty of word medicine and being able to request and, dare I say, command and set an intention with plants. Because if you know what it does in your body, what that does in my body may be different, how that shows up in someone else's bodies, right? So I'm just gonna say these for folks to catch them: cottonroot bark, blue cohosh, black cohosh, kitchen medicine like ginger, vitamin C, angelica, dong quai, tools in our tool belts. Again, know how they impact your bodies. And this is the framework that I just want to set up. Be careful, be intentional, Remember, this is a potent, powerful ritual. Dosage, right? Dosage can have something go from it serves to it's toxic. Dosage, be patient, listen to your body. There's a time to push, there's a time to slow things down. How are you going to nourish yourself? Food. What's the food medicine? What's the herb medicine, right? Things like nettles comes to mind. Nettles, how are you going to nourish yourself and replenish yourself? Liver cleansing herbs. I'm just planting seeds, supporting the liver to clear hormones. Support your nervous system. Support your heart space, upper heart and lower heart, our pelvis, our lower heart. What are those herbs that you want to explore or you already know to support your hearts, upper heart and lower heart? Supporting the nervous system. That's kind of baseline. Everyone's formula probably has nervous system support and heart space support because compassion lives here. Tissue healing herbs. Calendula comes to mind. What are those tissue healing herbs that you desire to explore? Really, I'm giving y'all homework. This is an assignment, right? For the sake of yourselves, for the sake of your loved ones, for the sake of the communities, for the sake of all of us. Camila mentioned pain management. And when do we need help? When is a situation beyond our experience and beyond our knowing and beyond our understanding? And soul care. Soul care. This is a release and a return. What does that ritual look like, right? So if there's anything today that I've said, I pray that these things land. It is explore herbs, know what is around you, know your allies right around you. I was on a call and actually it was a PowerPoint presentation and there were all these leaves and literally the request was, how many trees do you know? And I was like, snatching my imaginary pearls. And then the next slide was all of these corporate logos. And it was like, how many logos do you know? And I was like, my. So now I know a deficiency within myself. I need to know the trees all around me. So that is my catch it. This is what we do. We've been doing this. We still have underground railroads. It's just information, right? So may the rhizomes, may all this knowledge, if we need it in the moment, we are able to access it. And that's just herbally. We can also lean into non-herbal things, massage, pelvic massage. Don't sleep on the potency of moxa, mugwort. Mugwort moves things with the quickness, energetically and literally. Moxa steams. So that's my contribution. I pray that I just spread a bunch of seeds in my coded way, that it will land where it needs to land, right? And I'm here, right? So as a resource, I promise I'm here.